morning, everybody. Good morning, good morning. Happy Monday. Yep. How's it going, Chris? Will, John, Enrico, David, Benton. Good morning, everybody. Yeah, let's see what happens today. I am actually looking for something very, very specific. And if you've seen, we have a huge new week opening gap. We're going to have a big old opening range gap as well. I'll get to that in a minute. But I'm looking here because I'm actually looking to see if we're going to go short. I know we're at all-time highs, but again, I'm looking for something pretty specific today. And if it doesn't happen, then it doesn't happen. But so first, this is a good sign though. If I'm looking for price to come down to a specific area, I want it to go up first. So it's running up and cleaning out any bit of buy-side liquidity. So that's good. I'm just going to go straight. Well, let me go to the daily chart first. I was going to say, I'm just going to go straight to the 15-minute, but let's go to the daily. Because here's our big, huge new week opening gap. Okay. We have a little volume imbalance down here from where we closed Friday. We closed up. We have a little volume imbalance there. So we'll see if eventually we'll make our way down there. But I'm not expecting that today, especially. But I want to see price start making its way here to this new week opening gap. Obviously, if we close up today, we're going to have a huge imbalance here on the daily chart. But I don't know. I don't know if we're going to come down here and rebalance this today or not, but I want to see price try to work its way there. That's on the daily chart there, but I want to go to the 15-minute here because here's our big new week opening gap right here on the 15-minute chart. Okay. So I have that marked in 4 quadrants. So I have the high, the low, upper quadrant, lower quadrant, and midpoint here. So it looks like a lot, but it's really not that much. So I want to focus in on above that because I believe eventually, we're going to try to make our way down to it. But in this price action here, here's where I'm kind of looking at some smoothness at this Asian low here. And from there, we pretty much traded really nicely here. Made a little low at London low here. Came back up. And then we have this 15-minute gap right here. I want to see this fair value gap, this 15-minute fair value gap. I want to see it get worked through. Like, I want to work through this one. And then from there, if we can, I believe we're going to come down and take this London low. And then we have this price action here that we should come down. And we have the high of the new week opening gap right there and come down into it. Like I said, not really expecting to just go through and fill all that right now. But if we can have that area to work through this week, that might be nice because we haven't had much lately. But now, at the same time, because of how price action's been and because of the news or lack thereof and all of the other stuff going on, even though we have that, we can't get too fixated on it and just try to short everything. That's where you'll get ripped to pieces. So, patience as always. And yeah, that's what I'm looking for. Pretty simple actually right now. Doesn't mean it's going to be simple or it's going to be pretty to get anywhere there. So just have to have the patience and really wait for whatever setup you're taking. And if you trade the way I trade or ICT concepts, then, you definitely got to wait for the market structure, your setup, all that good stuff. So we'll see. But I do like how we opened up and ran all buy-side liquidity. Every bit of buy-side liquidity, and look at it coming down now. Hit this first minor sell sign. Now I want to see here to this high. Got about a 34-point stop in this fair value gap right here to that high. And I have this low over here marked as a sell side liquidity as well. But like I said, I have a lot of area to go lower. So I don't need to feel like I got to catch the very high of this area or this move. So, you know, just having some good patience. Yeah, Will, that's the thing. It's like, even if everything looks good to go short, it's always that golden rule of shorting all-time highs. You don't want to short all-time highs because it might just keep going higher. But, hey, it is what it is. If I get something really good and clean, I got to take it and take my risk. I mean, sometimes, though. Not always. You don't have to take the risk. You got to feel really good about it. But I think overall this week, I don't see a reason for the market really to just want to come down for the whole week. I mean, maybe it could. So if we set up a weekly profile for Monday to have a down day on Monday, then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday could try to climb up, and then Friday have its close. But we'll see. I might short in here. Yeah, that was quick. I didn't go short, though, because it wicked right up in here. But really, I want to be sure that we're not going to do another stop run. So I'm getting to the point where, especially with how price action is right now or lately, like this fair value gap, I normally would like to short that. Because I think we're going to go lower. But you see how we wicked up here? Look right here. You know, the wicks do the damage, right? There always could be, especially it's only 937. It doesn't have to, but there's always a potential we could do another little stop run first and then go. So, because right now there's not really any kind of structure formed right here on these highs. There's no structure formed. So you could short this and put your stop up here, or you can wait until we have a little more structure form, and then you'll get in a little bit lower. But like I said, there's a lot of room to go lower. So you don't have to feel like I got to get this fair value gap right here because I got to get the beginning of the run. If you can get somewhere, not the beginning and not the end, somewhere from the first, like, say, quarter of the run to the last quarter, not the end, not the middle, like somewhere in between, you know what I mean? That's, to me, optimal. See, like here, I don't think we come up and take this high, but there's a potential of it. So I want to see, look, right here. Like, this is what I'm talking about. Like, I don't think if you shorted this fair value gap, it probably won't lose, but you're taking heat on it. You could lose, but you're taking heat on it. That's why I don't want to take this one yet. And it very well could pull up right up into here. Look where the bodies are closing. All right, so let's look at this up candle right here. Let's see the respect of this right here. If it respects this and then we see further displacement down, that's going to be a great sign. We're going to go down. So in the past, I would have shorted this. But I'm really trying to be a little more patient, let things confirm a little bit more, basically. And like I said, I only go for low-hanging fruit anyways. I'm not going for 80, 90, 100-point runs. If I can catch 35 to 50 points, I'm solid. So as long as there's enough room, so like, for example, after this price run, like let's say it does come down and let's say I get an entry. Let's draw this out here. Let's say it comes down, right? And there's another, like, let's say there's an entry here. As long as from this point right here, I have more than my 35 to 50 points lower for a target, like let's say I'm targeting Asia low, just as an example, or the new week opening gap right here, as long as I have from this point to this target more than my 35 to 50 points, then I'm good. I'm good. I don't have to wait. I don't have to take the trade up here. You know what I mean? Like that's fine. And in this example, let's say I do get a short, like, I don't know, right here. From there, that's 70 points, you know? And what that does is that gives me, it allows me to let the market really show me that it's ready to go. Because, see, this is exactly why I don't want to short this yet. Because there's always that potential of another stop run. And it might not take that high, but look how it's overshooting. You have to allow it to overshoot, and then come down, if it's going to come down. And I don't like being in, if I don't have to be in a trade while it's doing that, while it's working in like that, then I'd rather not. Yep, David, there's a 15-minute fair value gap right there, so that's where I was mentioning I want to see it work through that. I think I mentioned that. Maybe not. I know I mentioned it in my head. I want to see it work through this right here. We have this 15-minute fair value gap, which we traded through it, which is perfect. I wanted to see it trade through it. I don't need it because my underlying narrative is to go lower, and it's pretty strong. I don't need it to close here first. I don't need it to do that. But I do need it to show a willingness to go through it, which it did trade through it here, but I need to see it like work its way in there first, like before, so I have confidence that it's going to keep going. But I don't need it to fully create an inversion of that 15-minute fair value gap. Now, if by the time I get an entry, if it does go down, and it just so happens that it is inverted, well, hey, even better. I did mention it. Okay. Sometimes I just talk, and I'm talking, and I don't remember if I said it out loud or in my head. So now at this point, I'm just going to patiently wait, see if we can start working its way into coming down. Because like I said last week, I don't typically like to trade all-time highs. And I know that it could just keep going all-time high. So if price really shows me an unwillingness, we have a little fair value gap right here too. I want to just mark this so we can see how it. Now, when you have a little fair value gap right here like this, it can overshoot that. All right, remember, like, look at the wicks and the bodies. That's so important. And let me, for just viewing purposes, see this one we had here. We overshot it, but look at the bodies on this up close candle right here. Look how it respected it. The wicks do the damage, but look at the respect of the bodies right here. Coming back down lower again, a little fair value gap. But look at the bodies. We're wicking through. And look right here. See, check that out. Wicking through. Have a volume imbalance right here, a little volume imbalance. Right there. So as long as it keeps respecting these little hints right here, right? The body here, body's respected. Wicks doing the damage. Overshooting this one, which I was going to say, when you have a little fair value gap like that, you can definitely expect that we overshoot it. But we still have this big fair value gap right here, right? Coming back in here in these volume balances, in this body here. Not saying, like, I just want to see kind of this area stay respected. But, hey, we know it could just keep going up, take off all-time highs, and do another stop run. And that's why I want to be really patient, because if it does do that, I mean, it could run up and just really keep doing this before eventually coming down, and that might not even be during my session. So Will had a great post in my Discord over the weekend about how basically when you're following a set of rules like this, and there can be time. So man, I loved that post, Will, that you put in there, because it's very true. You can get, because we want to make money, right? Like, we're literally trading to make money. And there's so many times the signatures in the market's literally just telling you, you shouldn't trade today. You shouldn't take a trade. And it's hard, because we know if we don't take a trade, we're not making money. But at the same time, if we're not taking a trade, we're not losing money. So we're flat. And over time, day after day, or even if it becomes week after week, you sit there like, oh man, like, I got to do something. Like, this sucks. Like, I'm not making money. But if you're following those rules, there's literally the market's telling you, stay away. And we just got to keep reminding ourselves of that. If there's nothing for us to, there's just, and because I used to wonder, the market. So think about this: if you zoom out, you'll notice the market has its patterns. Just overall, there's times where you're like, man, this market, man, I'm on, 3 weeks, 2, 3, 4 weeks. Hey, this market's so good, and then all of a sudden you'll have a pattern of like 2 weeks. It just looks terrible. And that happens over and over with these cycles. And I used to ask myself, or I used to wonder, like, man, I wish I could just figure out and identify when that market turns bad. Because if I could just eliminate those couple weeks of bad trading, I would do so good. So literally, when the market's telling you that you shouldn't trade, it's for a reason. It's for a reason. Yeah, I agree, David. It's hard to short with the market, the strength that the market has had lately. If it really is. Even if everything, like, if you have a lot of reasons and that the market should go down to specific areas, it's just still hard to say, all right, when that's going to happen. Just like I said Friday, at some point it's got to go to these areas. Or like, Friday I was talking about how the weekly candle, if you have an open and we go down, right, and the candle expands up all week long, at some point, like, I don't know if I've ever seen a close be the exact high, right? You'll have some bit of a wick. So Friday, I'm like, at some point, we have to make that high and come back and close. And like, it could be each session, each macro, I'd be finally looking for that one little short. And hey, it could be the very last minute of the day. And, with the way the market's been lately, if you're looking for that short, if you have a million reasons, you just don't know. It just might come at any time, and it might not be, probably won't be during the session you're trading. Look at it that way. Like, probably it won't be during this, like right now. If I'm looking for the market to come down to the high of that new week opening gap, or even this sell side liquidity, or this high I have to tell myself, I only trade till this New York opening session. There's no news. So I have to tell myself it's probably not going to be during my session. I'm not saying that it's not going to, or that or that I'm not going to just do nothing. I'm going to sit here and just watch. What I'm saying is I'm programming my mind to not be overly eager to force anything. Now, obviously, if we start displacing down and everything looks good, I'm going to take the trade. But if I kind of set my mind that way, then I'm not going to force anything. Hopefully, anyways. We're human. So look how it's respected this area. This is where I wanted to see it respect this area. It's overshooting. We had the body come up a little higher here, but, and this is where I mentioned, I don't think we're going to take this high. I don't, but, you know, obviously possible. Anything's possible, but it's just kind of what I'm looking at, and it's overshooting everything at the moment. These are those levels I was looking at. Now, let's see here. We're going to get a little volume imbalance right here. It's the next area. And then we may get, let's see if we get this fair value gap right here or not. Now, if you've watched any of ICT's new videos, if this candle closes down, we're going to have a suspension block, what he calls, a suspension block right here, where you have a candle with a volume imbalance on both sides, the high and the low of it. He says that's one of his strongest PD arrays, stronger than a fair value gap. So we'll see if we get that. Hey, David. Yeah, there's a link in all my videos to the Discord. Just click that link and you can hop right in. Well, that's a great point, and that's something I always tell myself, and I've always noticed as well. When you start getting fair value gaps printing in both directions over and over, and then it starts, you know, inverting them, reclaiming, inverting, reclaiming, creating a new one, inverting that one, reclaiming, just like over and over and over. Yeah, no, like that's when you have this ugliness right here, right? That's when I start. Okay, on top of that, when you start seeing stuff like this, it can be very easy to all of a sudden you see, let's say, a bar come down right here, create a fair value gap, and you're like, all right, now we're going to go. I'm going to take this short. It's very easy to start falling into some of those traps. So when I start seeing price action like this, I like to start looking at the 5-minute and 15-minute for a fair value gap to form. Because then if we can get a fair value gap to form on the 5 or the 15, or start looking like we're going to get one, like actually, here, let me go to the 15. Like actually getting, because you know, you can see, like if you're on the second bar of the formation, you can see like, all right, we're probably going to get a fair value gap. I want to see that. So I would need like basically a candle to start coming down, right? And then another candle to come down like this, right? Because then now, you know, if we get another candle, say open here, then you're like, okay, we're probably going to get this fair value gap. Like I want to start seeing that on the 5 or the 15-minute when we have price action the way it looks right now, because I don't want to get tricked into anything on the 1-minute. So like even the 5-minute, look at the 5-minute, look at all the wicks. So same thing, like I want to start seeing some price action come down, a candle close. Like let's get a closure down here, right? A down close candle, and then start seeing some expansion down where it looks like, okay, we might start working a new, like a 5-minute fair value gap, if that makes sense. See, in this, okay, and right here, this little volume imbalance, we completely disregarded it, and now we closed above it, and we're respecting the long side of it. So it's not looking like it's ready anytime soon to come down. For the moment, anyways. So we'll see what happens at 10 a.m. And don't forget, y'all, I am going to do another 5 Apex eval giveaway today on this channel. So, I figured out my little bot a little better this time, so shouldn't have any issues. Did y'all have a good weekend? Hope everybody had a good weekend. I pretty much disconnected from social media. My son had his first games for the season, basketball games, so that was good. We had a showcase at a he's in high school, but we had a college showcase, so that was cool. Went very well. By the way, I won't be streaming this Friday. He has a tournament. Well, I'll be out of town, so I won't be streaming Friday. Basketball season is here. All right. You're going up. Now, let's look at this, okay? Let's look at this 15-minute wick right here. See this wick, how it reached up above all buy side and closed right here. This next candle is, you know, as of now, a little bit indecisive. I want to watch this wick here in the midpoint. If we fail to close above this midpoint right here, that's something I want to keep an eye on. And it very well, like I said, I'm wanting a short because I have more reason to go short. Other than just longs keep going through all-time high. But I'm only looking for the signatures to go short because that's what I'm looking for. Doesn't mean I'm thinking we're just going to go short. I'm fully aware and knowing that we could just keep going long. So, like, I want to make that clear. And that's why I was talking about earlier. I don't want to force a short because it's very possible that we don't go short, at least during my session here. Oh, and I got one PA, so I have that activated. It's ready to go. Back on the map with a PA. And I have another good handful of evals ready to go. Just got to get them passed. And then we'll be back in business. UK start. Oh, nice. I love European basketball. Love it. And, you know, because it for anybody that likes basketball, the U.S. and European overseas basketball is completely different. The U.S. basketball has gotten ruined. Euro basketball or overseas basketball is so much more like what college basketball, most of college basketball is here. Definitely not what the NBA is. So we train our kids to play more like overseas and more like what they're going to need for college basketball. Unless if they're that 6'8" genetic freak that's everybody knows of, that's for sure going D1 basketball. We do it like everybody else should be doing it. All right, we're hitting this upper quadrant of that wick. Again, it's not giving us much right now. I don't have a lot of expectation, and it sucks. Like, I wish I would have started going live again a few months back. But hey, okay. So here's the double-edged sword to it. I wish I would have went live a few months back because everybody likes seeing the trades and the success and like making money and good trades, right? On the flip side, I guarantee you most other people streaming are still taking trades right now, right? And like a lot of my streams right now and probably in the near future are gonna be a lot of no trades. And you know, that's not for everybody. So, I don't care. I'm not streaming to cater to people. to just want to see buttons click and you know, YOLO. And so hey, what I'm trying to show. So on the flip side of that, like I said, I'm trying to display what actual real trading should be. It really should be not prop trading. None of that. You know, you can't blow and go and flip live accounts. I mean, I guess you could if you're okay with keep funding new accounts yourself, but to me, that's not the way to go. I always like to prep and trade as if prop firms would disappear tomorrow. I want to be prepared. I'm not saying that's going to happen. I'm not saying I'm expecting that to happen. But if prop firms got shut down tomorrow, could I still come back tomorrow and stream live? Absolutely. And I 1,000% would. NIL. Do we have a kid? Certified to university. Oh, UK. Oh, gotcha. Gotcha. UK, because there was a trader, UK futures trader. I was mixing that. I don't know. I was just mixing that up. Yeah, Kentucky. Yeah, I know. I seen that kid from Croatia at Kentucky. Yeah, he's solid for sure. And the NIL, man, the NIL and transfer portal. Whew. Yeah. Have you seen too? So there's even NBA players. There's G League players and Cam Reddish, NBA player, considering going back to college. And if you get an ex-NBA player, because he's a free agent, he's been in the NBA for like 5 years. If he goes back to college, he's going to make more money through NIL deals than he would if he signed any deal in the NBA right now, for what his value is. So it's like, it's pretty crazy. And D1, like, unless if you're, so I'm in the Houston area, and they average, out of like 8,000 kids that can graduate and go to college, they average about 18 to 22 per year go Division 1. And I guarantee you those 18 to 22 per year, they look like they should play Division 1. So unless you're that, any big D1 college, they want somebody else that's already been playing college, that's a 22-year-old like college body, right? They don't want a 17, 18-year-old 6-foot kid, maybe great player, but they don't want that coming out of high school, right? So it's like, man, it's so crazy how college or how basketball has become. I mean, a lot of the same is going on with football too, but to me, it's a little more crazy with basketball. There's just not much right now in the market I'm looking for or looking at. The 15-minute chart here. We took that high. I'm going to get rid of this. We're going up. And like I said, we may just keep going up. I just don't like to trade into all-time highs. I could. I'm not good at it. I don't like it. And I stick to my guns because if I go, and here's why. If y'all haven't heard me say it before, I love the golden question of, before I take a trade, if I take this trade and it loses, how will it make me feel? If you just ask that question to yourself every day before you take a trade, that can actually help you a ton. And it helps me a ton. If I take this trade and it loses, how will I feel? Because if I know I typically don't like taking all-time highs trades, even if it every now and then I win, whatever. But the day if I take a trade and I set some deviations and I go to all-time high and it loses, man, yeah, I know me. I'll say, man, why did I take that trade? I know I don't like taking trades into all-time highs. Even though I think might keep going, everything looked like it'll keep going higher. I took it, and if it loses, I'll get mad. I'll say, man, I shouldn't have taken that trade. And whenever you have trigger moments like that, that could cause you to take one more trade. And if that trade loses, then you can say, oh my God, every trade, I just can't get a win. I can't get a win. And you take another one, and then, you know what? Let me double down. Let me try to make it all back. It could just get terrible from there. And I say all that because through experience, trust me. And I know a lot of people. I know a lot of y'all have had the same experiences at some point too. So, all right, let's do this. Let's mark the opening range now. So we have this low, 935. And what time was this? 9:31. So this is going to be the high of the opening range. Well, what time was this? 10:01. Yeah, so this is going to be the high of the opening range right here. Let's throw some deviations. Look at that. Right to the 0.25. And then we have the 0.5 up here at 891. That's the low. This is the high. And if I were to take a long, if I was okay with taking longs, there was some opportunity. Well, you can see like this little fair value gap right here we went into. Of course, I wouldn't have taken this unless if you were really like, oh, we're going to keep making all-time highs. There's a fair value gap there. And since we turned this corner and took these highs, you can look at each of these down close candles. How did it respect it? Traded back in here, respected it. Of course, none of these would be entries I personally would consider. Now you have another one right there. Let's see if that holds, and then you'd want to see this candle hold up here. So you'd prefer the market not to come back below here, but these two down candles, it definitely could tap into that before continuing up. So that's kind of what I would be looking for structure-wise if I was anticipating it to keep going up. Like I said, it very well could. But you see how I hit the 0.25 deviation right here. Typically, if it does continue, it'll at least go to the 0.5 and then maybe the 1. But every time I've watched this, I've always seen it go to at least to the 0.5. So that's where I would expect. Again, though, I just don't trade this personally. But if I did, that would be my target. This 891. And we still don't have a fair value gap on the 15 yet. We might be in a little less than 2 minutes trying to get one on the 5 minute. So that's where I would. Oh, wait. Oops. 2. There we go. This is where I would look and see if we got this one on the 5. If we do get this one on the 5 minute, how does price react, right? When it comes back into it. Does it stay in the upper half? Does it trade through? Or does it create an inversion? That'll tell you a lot if we get this 5 minute. So, for the purpose of this stream, I'm going to mark it there. We'll go back to my 1 minute. And let's just watch. And it's 10:08. I'm going to go ahead and start. Let me see if I can get this drawing started so we can start getting some entries. All right, we're going to use the same little command as last time. Enter that in, and you'll get a entry for the drawing. So go ahead and enter exclamation mark beast. Okay, so see, we got this fair value gap, this 5 minute one. Now, let's see the reaction in here. Do we immediately trade through it, invert it, or what do we do here? We're hitting the midpoint of it. Do we reach into there, continue up? Do we invert it? What do we do here? This is going to tell us everything we need to know for this morning, in my opinion. Right here. All right, now also here's where I said we could trade right back down to. So let's see what happens here as well. But at that time that I said that, I wasn't seeing that 5-minute fair value gap potential yet. So, because here's the thing, it's after 10 a.m. That's our first fair value gap on the 5, basically above the 1 minute. So if the market was going to go higher, we should respect that. It should not create an inversion there on the 5-minute, which it is holding. And if we do get a 1-minute fair value gap right here, which we did, it will invert it to go higher if we can't basically invert this 5-minute on the 5-minute chart, not just this 1 minute. The 1 minute basically just rebalanced it and traded right into these down closed candles. Look at the bodies respecting that right there where I marked. So now this is a crucial point where if we come down, invert that 5-minute, or if we're going to go up, this is going to hold in the next 2 minutes right in this area. If so, then I fully expect we'll go up to this, at least this 0.5 deviation. Again, I'm likely not going to place a trade, though, because unless we get that displacement down, I'm not going to take a long. All right, we've got some entries here. Keep on using that command, !beast. Get your entry in. Let's go to the 5-minute so we can look at that fair value gap here. See that? Let's see what happens. Got a minute left. Thanks, John. That definitely is always good to hear. And we're not going to create an inversion there. So I'm expecting this to continue up. We need to, this is the 1 minute chart now. Once we create an inversion here, if we can, at that point, I believe we'll just continue up. This will just be a bullish order block, this down close candle, if we can displace up again above that. Now, doesn't mean if we displace lower and invert this 5 minute later, then hey, that's still a possibility. Oh, let me get rid of this one. I have not seen shadow today, no. All right, now it's showing a little bit of sign that it may be ready to come down. Maybe. It's showing a little bit of willingness. Again, very patient. It's gotta really show me. Okay. Oh, let me get rid of this one. See, I hate when I put when I'm showing little levels or things and I put a mark on my chart and then I forget to remove it. Then I get back to it and I'm like, what was that? Always got to remember to remove it. So we're below this 5 minute fair value gap. Now there's 2 minutes, but now we've traded pretty well through it. We're down to the next set of down close candles right here. So we'll see how price reacts in this area. And that's also, you know, this is what happens when we don't have any news drivers. I mean, it's, man, it's tough. There was no 15-minute fair value gap after the open, so it's a good thing. Hey, Max. Good to see you. There you go. Get your entry in. All right, we are going to get this inversion, it looks like. Well, we got it. We still have a minute to get this 5 minute inversion. I'm going to get rid of it so I can clean my chart up, and I'm going to get rid of this opening range to clean my chart up. But I do know this was the high, this was the low, so equilibrium of that opening range is right here at 828. So I'll just have to keep that in mind. Because it very well could come back into the opening range, stay in the upper half, and then continue up. Then we have, let's see, this was the first presented fair value gap that we're back to, right there, which lines up with the middle of it is almost where the midpoint of that opening range gap. Remember that opening range gap was 828. So we'll see. If we trade below this, then, hey, that might be time for us to go down. But if this area right here holds up, might be keep going up. So we got that 5-minute inversion. Now we're looking like potentially we might want to get a fair value gap down if we could stay down here, right? Because you see, this is what I was talking about. Where you have this further down. Now we're coming up. I don't want to see it rebalance this. If it rebalances that, basically meaning this candle we're at now, if it comes up to this lower wick, then that's rebalanced. I don't want to see that if I'm going to go lower. So that, and then, well, the 15-minute changed up too, because the 15-minute, it was still early, but this candle coming down was looking like we were going to have a potential where we have this wick. And if this candle comes down here and closes, like let's say down here, and then the new one does not come up to this wick, we could potentially get a 15-minute fair value gap there. So I'm always trying to kind of look ahead a little bit, but we'll see what happens there. So that 5-minute, here, let's go back to the 5-minute, has not rebalanced yet. Still have that open. So I don't want to see that get rebalanced. I don't want it to come back up here. What's that low? 25, 848.75. Don't want to see it return there. Let's put a little mark there and go back to the 1 minute. It's going to be that line right there. We have 2 minutes and 40 seconds that this has to stay below that line to create a 5-minute fair value gap. And then I want to see continuation. I want to see it really want to go below this area that I'm mentioning around that 828 area right here. For me to consider anything. All right, we're getting a good amount of entries in here for the drawing. Everybody keep putting in that command, !beast, giving away 5 Apex evals here in a little bit. Just want to see if we can get down here somewhere. Still, look at the respect of 828. Here, let's mark out 828. Or, let's just do this, make it easy. 828 right there. Look at the bodies. Look at the bodies at 828. Let's see if I can just do this. 828. Opening range equilibrium. There we go. Opening range equilibrium. Look at the bodies respecting it. First presented fair value gap right here. $30 seconds and we'll get that 5-minute fair value gap if it stays down here. It's got to stay below this level right here, 848.75. And we'll get it's only about a 4-point fair value gap, so, but it is a fair value gap. Okay, we got it. So we have a little 5-minute fair value gap here, about a 4-point fair value gap. Let me mark it so we can see the price reaction if it hits it. But it might create an inversion and keep going higher because right now we have a little bit of confliction, right? The middle of the equilibrium of the opening range held up right here. The wicks went through, but the bodies, look at the bodies. And the first presented fair value gap. It held up for now. So let's see the reaction. It's a crucial area for me now. Do we get above this or do we get below this? That's going to be what I'm watching. Look at this though. I like that. If we can displace lower from here, that'll be a great sign. And if we can't, well, I'm probably not going to take a trade. That's literally the only way I'm going to take a trade now, is if we can displace below this area right here. Like, displace meaningfully below there. But if we come up and close above this area that I have here, then I'm out. I'm done. If we start closing above and making our way up. Yeah, Chris, I got one funded account. So I have one. I guess I mentioned that a little earlier, that I finally I'm back in the game. I got one funded. I got a bunch of evals ready to go. All right, I like this reaction. We got to get past this area, though, for me to consider anything. We got to get below here. I like the reaction. Need displacement lower. Otherwise, if we don't get that, we're just doing one final hit of consequent encroachment of the first presented fair value gap, and we'll continue up and hit that 0.5 deviation I had marked out earlier. If we don't displace here, in my opinion. Are you short, Chris, on gold or what? I know you like gold. You said you had a good day on gold. What's up, Shadow? Slept in? It's probably had to get some extra sleep after that Niners loss yesterday, huh? Sorry, Chris. I mean, Kyle. Shadow. The Steelers had a rough one last night, too, so I feel you. All right, right here. Here we go. That's it. We're going to go long. This is the area. It's showing me, see, if you're patient and you wait, if you're patient and you wait, the market's always going to tell you. It's going to tell you its hand. It's going to show its hand eventually. So now right here, you get this fair value gap. It should, if it comes into it, it should not come back below it, and it'll keep going to that 0.5 deviation that I had there. Is gold good to trade this week? Gold has been good because of quantitative easing on gold. It's going to continue being good. I mean, it depends how you trade, really, how you trade it. But it'll keep being good until it's not. So just be prepared for that, because it soon will chop everybody up to pieces. Because gold typically doesn't go on runs, and it doesn't expand very much, but right now it is, because there's a lot going on in the markets right now. People are moving. There's a lot of movement into gold as a safe haven. because there's a lot of uncertainty. So when you have a lot of uncertainty, people move into safe havens, and that's gold. And especially because there's quantitative easing happening with gold right now. Basically, that's repricing of the gold. And it's in inflation. It's fake. So just like whenever QE started in 2008, with Obama in the markets, it's literally fake. That's what quantitative easing is. So just always, if you trade gold, just be prepared for that. So here you go, right back into that fair value gap. This is where, like I said, we'll probably go up to that 0.5 deviation right here to 891. That would be a long right in here to 891. I actually would probably be pretty confident in that one. I would actually, this would be one long into all-time highs I would actually be confident in. I just didn't take it, but because the market is literally giving me all the signal I need to go long. It's only about a 30-point target, though. Yeah, actually, right at 30, and I'll need it. It's a 1-to-1. It's not bad. Chris, whoever told you that, it lied to you. They don't know the markets, the gold. That's literally what I'm saying is literally how it works. With over 20 years in the financial industry, yeah. I'm actually going to long this. Well, it didn't enter the trade. It came back in. What time is it? 32? Yeah. Oh, look at that. Not sure why it didn't take in my PA right there. I got a error. So that's not good. I'm going to put my stop under this swing right here. Where's my target? Target that 0.5. I'm not sure why it didn't. Huh. Yeah, it didn't take in my PA. You said you had the same issue, Chris? That's weird. I did have a problem with NinjaTrader earlier where it kept crashing on me for some reason. It kept saying NinjaTrader is not responding, and it kept closing. And it's finally been on this whole time during the stream. So I'm not sure. It did fill. Yeah, mine didn't fill. But that's fine. It's okay. I'm not going to force anything or do anything. We should make it up to that 890. I may go to break even here pretty soon, though, since we did take these highs. I want to be a little bit cautious. Because, like I said, I typically don't like trading into all-time highs, even though it's giving me all the signatures and everything that we're likely to keep going. So I'm going to go ahead and move to break even. Just because, like I said, I always like to ask myself, if I lose this trade, how will it make me feel? And this one I'm very confident in, though, because of all of the signatures that I had below that I've basically been reading out. So I'm going to go ahead and cover, though, at break even just in case. Yeah, I really don't know what happened with my PA. If that happened to you, other people, okay, everybody's having that issue. There must be something going on with either NinjaTrader or Rhythmic then. I don't feel bad anymore about it. So we'll see if we get this fair value gap right here. Price could come back down to my stop, though. But I'm okay with that because, like I said, this is typically not a trade I normally like that much, even though I really think we're going to get up there. But there's a chance that it doesn't. So that's why I moved to break even pretty quick. And we'll see what happens. I'm just going to let it go. We got this little fair value gap. So I really would like to see how it's respecting the 0.25. If we can't make it all the way up there, then, you know, we'll see. But you got to watch right here, this point two. Look at the bodies. Look at the bodies. Look at the wicks. Let's see when it hits this fair value gap. I really want to see it take off from there. I don't want to see it hang out here too much. If it does tap into this fair value gap, I just want to see it hit this line and take off. And if it keeps, like, if it fails to keep going higher, then I'll just tighten up and just take whatever I can out of this. We should get up there, though, that 0.5. 891. Move it up a little bit to cover. Make sure I cover commissions and stuff and slippage. Get on up there. See, I have my target exactly on 891. I typically don't like doing that. But it could still return to this area down here that I have marked before hitting my target. It shouldn't, but it could. Right here. I got, let's see, 4 points away from my target, so I will, if it really hesitates here, I'll probably end up tightening up or closing it because I don't like getting that close to target and letting it come all the way against me. This is not a big trade, but it is what it is. Yeah, see, I got pretty close, but we have some fair value gaps in here. At this point, I just got to let it go. Hopefully it doesn't come all the way back down, but we'll see. Let's check this wick right there. Oh, not sure what happened there. Got pretty close. I don't want it to come all the way back down, but it might. I got 4 points. If it gets right back up to this high and just really struggles, I'll just probably close it. Like I said, we have this area right in here, this 870 it could reach back down to before continuing up, even though I'd prefer it not to. And as it's pulling back, though, like I'm looking for any signs of reasons why it wouldn't go back up. Like if it's leaving any fair value gaps down or imbalances or anything, which it's not. So it's just kind of pulling back. Now, if it comes up here and it struggles to get above, I'll either close it or I can move my stop where these bodies are. Like right there, it got pretty close and stopped. I'm trying to see if we get a little swing right here. Yeah, I'm going to move my stop right up here. And if I get stopped out, it's fine. But if it can't take these highs right up here, I'll probably just close it. If it keeps on struggling right here. And it'll probably end up going up. But I don't want to just let it, I don't want to give it all back or too much back. All right, I'm closing out. Oh, look, and see, there's that notification again because it was still copied. Just make sure it's not, don't have any positions. Okay, no, it's good. All right, I'm out of that one. Not too bad. About 24, 25 points. Not too bad, not too bad. But see, a little bit of a struggle to get up there. It'll probably get up there, but I'm good with it. Made $475 on my live account. All right, let's get that drawing done here. Let's get that drawing here. All right. Yeah, it's a good trade. Good trade. Yeah, let me, hold on. Before I do that, let me make sure this copy, let me turn this copier off. All right, the copier's off. And I don't have any pending orders or anything. That's weird. I hate that that happened to everybody, but I do feel good that it wasn't just me. So let me just make sure I'm all flat and everything's good. Yeah, there must be something going on with either Rhythmic or Ninja. All right, here we go. Here's the drawing. We have pretty good amount of entries here. 21 entries. And we got our first winner, My Ameritrade. My Ameritrade, congrats. There's one winner there. Second winner is John. Good. There you go. Congrats, congrats. All right. Second winner. We got our third winner is going to be Chris. Chris, congrats. Congrats. And by the way, these evals, you can use them for any size account. Any size, 25K up to a 300K eval. Keep in mind, it's free for the first month. If you don't pass it, then you will have to pay if you want to keep it. So cancel it if you don't want to pay. Okay? 1, 2, 3. We got 2 more going on here. Is it Lila? Congratulations. Congratulations. All right. And for our final winner for today, here we go. David. Congratulations, David. All right, I'm going to put my email in here now. Today, though, what I need y'all to do, take a screenshot of your YouTube handle here with the email. So that way I know it's you, okay? Send it to that email, swinter@futuresniperbeast.com, and I will get you your coupon code over to you. All right. Well, thanks, everybody, for being here today. And if you got a trade, I hope it won. If you didn't get a trade, no problem. I almost didn't myself. So, anyways, all right. I'm going to hop off of here today. I will see y'all tomorrow. And as always, trade well, everybody. Take care.